Yo, it's TWT here with another video. Today we're going to be looking at GS Quant by Goldman Sachs. You know, this was released a while ago, but it's in my blog post list, so we're going to talk about it. Okay? We're gonna probably, let's react to this video and view the GitHub and check out some of the reviews and
So
comments,
as it
okay?
turns out, Goldman
Mute my mic.
Sachs has an open source or open development quantitative finance Python package, which I find really interesting. You can see here that they have a developer page and they have a bunch of solutions here. In the docs, they have this GS Quant, which is their Python toolkit for quantitative finance, which I find really interesting. And I was poking around in here and I was looking for some examples or some tutorials, and I'll get to that in a minute.
So basically, from what I know, that it's a way to query, finances. But from what I've read, it's not really open source. It's kind of paywall blocked. You have to have a subscription with them to actually use it correctly and use all the features. But let's continue watching this.
I just wanted to show you that they do have a GitHub repository page as well that you can go in and take a look at requirements and how to examples. And I clicked on it and it brought me to this page. And I said, okay, I'll keep looking around. And I poked my way through some of this stuff here. And I eventually landed on this Jupyter notebook page that had several different types of Jupyter notebooks where GS Quant was used. And I found this one really interesting. So this Jupyter notebook here was looking at, I think, the last election cycle, and it just does a pretty interesting analysis of the FX markets based on the before and after data of the last US election cycle. So I know that this year is a US election cycle, so it might be kind of interesting to go through this again. Of course, I don't have through there. It wouldn't be a quant module, or it wouldn't be a quant SDK if they didn't have a time series module here or package. And it looks like they have returns and diff. And then they're grabbing sklearn for PCA. Map. What we'll talk about first is the data, PCA, interpreting the top two risk drivers, and then I'm assuming this is like they're going to test out the returns based on the realized data versus what the predicted is based on the PCA analysis.
So it looks like
Okay, so let's just
sorry. So it looks like it's quantitative finance more so obviously with quant. So they're trying to predict more data based on the data given. Um, I'm learning this as I go with you guys, so I'll drop in and give my insights as we go along.
get into it. So let's look at the data. It looks like they can pull volatility from the GS data catalog, and I tried looking through their catalog, but unfortunately, you do need like a user ID and an account to look at that catalog. It looks like they can pull.
That's kind of what I was talking about, where you need an account to actually look at the data and use all the features, which is kind of cumbersome. I mean, I think they just released this for notoriety rather than use, and it's actually be open source. But let's continue watching and find out.
Volatility data from it though, and we can probably see it here. So they're grabbing FX spot, IRS spot, volatility, and the volatility from there. I'm not sure what the IR, they're defining stuff here, but here they're grabbing GS datasets, and this is the list of data. And then they get the data based on the start and end date interval table. I don't know right here, but you can see this is just the time, the FX volatility across the years, right? You can see in 2020 it went way, way, way.
Yep. So it's just giving an analysis of the volatility of the timeline. It seems to be more of a video looking at the code and how the code runs for quant.
Yeah, but that's to be expected. Looks like back here there was like a bear market, but then we had a good bull run in this period of time. Cool. So, or excuse me, this is volatility. I need to get that through my head. This is the first time I'm looking at this. So this is the volatility of the FX rates across time. So you can see it was really volatile around this period, which I wonder what happened around this period. Cool. So we get that. So they do the same thing with the implied rate volatility. Okay, so DEX. So they've essentially pulled three different volatilities in currencies. So it looks like instruments, they're setting the instruments, the equities, commodities, rates, FX, credit, fundamental, volatility window, asset map. Yikes. I'm not gonna get too deep into this because it looks like what they're trying to do is just set a data frame for all the different instruments across the time that they grabbed. And opponent and vice versa. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but
They
they're just
trained the
going.
first model on the full data.
Yeah, they're just going over this Jupyter Labs project and the data points and stuff, which isn't really, that insightful. From my standpoint at least, looking for more of a review of it in totality rather than just listing the variables and data points. And obviously, it's quant. Um, let's let the video finish, and then we're gonna look at reviews, like I said before.
Data set. They trained the second model on just 2020, and then they plot it. And I kind of like the way that they plot this because they show like in a pretty typical like what you learn in school, the positive DA. Um, I know I sort of ran out of gas toward the end here, but if you want to take a look, Jupyter learn if it's a sloppy video. Anyway, I just quickly threw this together. Looks the GitHub repository. And you might want to explore the maybe even you might want to explore Jupyter notebooks that you can look through, and maybe even you might want to explore the GitHub repository here to see if you can learn some stuff. Anyway, I just quickly threw this together. Sorry if it's a sloppy video.
Yeah, for sure. I knew there was something wrong. It just seemed like you just threw it together for sure. Let's read and react to some of the comments here. I worked at GS for almost 2 years up until last December. I remember when this project was a baby. For a financial company, they take software engineering very seriously. Okay, good to know. And they understand its value. If you ever have an opportunity to work there, I recommend you take it. Okay, you know, Goldman Sachs is the place to be for quant development. Mm-mm. Nice. So I think it'd be nice to find some videos of the actual development of it. Let's see if we can find that. Which I doubt we can. They probably sign NDAs and all type of stuff. Okay, so unfortunately, you need a GS Dev account. Seems otherwise you can't use anything. You have to pay for that, I think. Okay. Hey, clickbait. First of all, GS Quant is not open source. You need to authenticate to use it first. Yeah. So you have to authenticate to even use this GitHub repo. They're pretending to be open source. Pretty useless. You need a password for most of the stuff. How to do a deep learning model from trading from zero. Would you guys be interested in doing this? A video for beginners of how to set up a deep learning model for trading from zero, which I think he means from, starting from zero, from a code. So useless. You can't even read the documentation without a GS account, which you have to pay for. How much does it cost? No, it's not open source. I'm gonna dislike that. What? Uh, it's not open source, man. Okay. Let's see if we can find let's see if we can find. Yeah, I don't see any developers. Yeah, I don't see any developers talking about building it, which would be nice. Let's see if we can find it on Google. Yeah, there's no story about the development. People were really interested in it, and people that worked on it said it was amazing. Let's see what this is. Well, we can now view the documentation without having to sign in, which is cool, I guess. No bueno. This is a Reddit post. Somebody has replied to it yet because you need an account to use it. So it looks like this is probably an actual open source project. Okay, awesome quant. It's not a project, it's a list of projects that we can use. Oh. See if we can find anything else on GS Quant. Check out this video. I'm gonna mute it really quick because I don't know.
Goldman Sachs is like the Microsoft.
So yeah, that's Goldman Sachs QS Quant. There isn't much being talked about it because of the how much stuff you have to go through to even access it. Insane. Register interest. Let's go through to the register interest. Doesn't even work. Contact our team usually means you have to pay for it. So I mean, it's kind of cool if you have a Goldman Sachs account, but otherwise pretty useless. Is a sentiment that I'm getting. I'm not really finding anything on it. Let me try one more search. Find has been giving me so many issues lately, guys. Jesus, it took forever. It's supposed to be giving me a list of links. thought I had the Perplexity plugin, but I don't think I do. Excuse me, by the way. Yeah, no reviews. Yeah, so pretty much useless. I think they just did that to get publicity and get clout, pretty much. Oh, we've released an open source project. Meanwhile, it's paywall blocked. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. TWT here, and I'm out.